Honey, let's get into this debt-free journey though. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking this video. I'm so excited to finally have this out for you guys so we can talk about my debt-free journey, what I've paid, what is going to be paid soon, and answer all of your questions after I give how I did this debt-free journey and all of that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get into the video. First of all, I'm Ashley Morgan. Thank you so much for joining. I create plus size fashion lifestyle content for all plus size women around the world to entertain them, for them to relate from, and yeah, just for them to have a good time watching. So if you happen to like this video, don't forget to like it down below. Subscribe to my channel because I would love to have you here. We have videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I've written notes on here, so you will see me go back and forth on this phone because I want to make sure I get all the points for you guys, just in case someone wants to, you know, you want to know how this went, how this is going on. So I definitely want to have all of this stuff to y'all without any confusion, okay? So as of now, I've paid over $42,000 in debt. The exact amount is $42,321 in debt, and it has taken me around 6 months. Well, exactly 6 months to pay that off. So what that consists of is small consumer debt, one credit card, an IRS bill, and most of my car loan. So as you guys know, I'm an accountant. So yeah, don't feel like all accountants know about taxes because I am not a tax proficient accountant. Accountants have their specialities, if I should say. Each one is special in their own thing, and then if you like cross different departments and you can learn all kinds of stuff. I am not a tax girl. So yeah, that IRS bill is something I actually did not know about. It came up from a debt cancellation from years before, and I received a 1099-C, which is a debt cancellation form. So I basically voluntarily gave back a car, never got with the finance company to be able to pay down that debt or settle that debt. They eventually canceled that debt. This was an early 20s mistake. Listen, they eventually canceled that debt, and that is considered income on the year that they canceled and filed that 1099-C. So yeah, that's how that came about. So if you have a voluntary repossession or any kind of repossession, please be sure to go to the finance company to try to get some kind of settlement because you're still liable for that. And you would not want that 1099-C to surprise you and be considered income because they've canceled the balance of that loan. And now you have an extra, what? It could be an extra 10 or an extra 20 or an extra 30 depending on how much your car loan was. That extra amount as income, taxable income for the IRS to tax you on that you did not know about. So just heads up. So today, the day that I'm recording this video is the 2nd of April. It will go live on the 7th. As of the end of March 31st of 2021, what made the 6 months that I started paying off debt. So as of now, in the month of April, I have at least another $37.50 coming in as extra income outside of my full-time job. And that is, well, I'll have an extra amount of that going towards debt. I'll actually have more than that coming in. But the way I set up how I finance my side business, only $37.50 of that will be able to go towards debt. So that is what is going to be paid towards debt in April. And that's not including my $394 car note. So by the end of April, I'll have a total of $46,465 that I know of today paid in debt. So yeah, that's the total gist of how much is going to be paid off by the end of April. That would make 7 months by the end of April. I started my debt-free journey. I would say I started it literally the last few days of September. So I was just like, it's October 1st. So that makes how I count that calendar year. And well, that's how I count it based on when I started. And yeah, so by the end of September, it'll be over, by the end of April, it'll be over $46,000, which thank God so much. Hallelujah. So now I want to tell you guys how I got out of debt, the exact steps that I've taken in order to work my way out of debt. So of course I have notes, so don't be surprised at what I'm reading from this. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you already know who has inspired me to start this debt-free journey. I'm not going to say the guru's name, but you can always go back to my Instagram, plug here, and look through my debt-free journey highlight, and you will be able to see who exactly that guru is, and you know how I've been talking about going through this debt-free journey from the very beginning. So the first thing the guru encourages you to do is to find out your why as to why you want to get out of debt. My why is very simple. It's personal. I can tell it to you now. It's basically to have freedom. I want financial freedom. I want freedom of my schedule. I want the freedom to be able to spend time with my family at my leisure whenever I am ready to, and whenever I want to change my schedule. I want to be able to go on vacation and if I enjoy it, stay a little longer if I choose to. Not to have to answer to someone if I want to live my life a certain way and based on a certain schedule. And also to have the job that I absolutely love, that allows me the freedom to create, but also just feeds that analytical side of me that is still in accounting. So yeah, all of that is literally the freedom of living life abundantly in the way that I see, or God has placed in me to be fit. So that's my why, and it may not seem so specific, but it's very specific to me, because there's certain times when I am like living and I'm like, oh, I wish I could be able to do this, but that schedule won't allow it because of other things that I don't have a lot of control of, because I'm working literally to get a paycheck to pay bills. So I want to be able to have more financial freedom, have my money work for me, and me not have to work so hard for my money. There's one thing that someone said, I think I was watching Miss Kev on stage, and she talked about how a person that she was listening to talked about how there's a time where you are working for, like for instance, if you're working on a salary or an hourly basis, it's like your hours have a price to that, and you're literally working and you can only get so far with that because you only have so much time in the day. But when you're working based on your talent and your service, then you can have a set price, or you can increase that, and you can actually go above and beyond. There is not a ceiling there for you because you are placing a price on talent, and that can, you know, take you three hours, or it takes you 6 hours to do that talent or that service. But the amount of that can probably could probably be equivalent to a month's worth of work over here. So, you know, I like to, you know, I'd like to charge higher for the service and the talent, and be able to have a bit more freedom with my time. So that is what I'm looking for. That's my biggest why. I love to talk about it. It gets me up. It keeps me working 2 jobs, and you know, it keeps me going. It motivates me, and that you have to have a why that's big enough to push you through the hard times when everything is not easy. Like even this morning, it was not easy for me to get up to get ready in order to film. Sometimes I don't feel like it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I do not feel like it, but my why is big enough for me to keep pushing, because there's some things I want some freedom to be able to do. The next thing I considered was how long did I want it to take me to get out of debt. I originally wanted it to take a year, but that would have broke me. I originally wanted to take a year, but I decided to have since I started October 2020, I decided to have a 16-month goal. So my goal is to be out of debt completely by the end of January 2022. And that goal is right on track. I'm right on track with it. There is also a tool that the guru suggests that you can use. And again, if you look back at my Instagram stories highlight, you'll be able to see the tool or hear me talk about that tool. But it also gives you the amount that you can pay each month in order to be able to meet that goal, whatever that end goal is, or the time frame that you have to be able to get out of debt. You want to try to go as fast as possible. So it may be a little uncomfortable financially, like as far as you don't have a lot of money to go eat out, or you don't have money to go take trips and stuff like that, because you are working towards a goal to hurry up and get out of debt so that you can begin to live the life of of the why that you have incorporated in the reason as to why you're trying to get out of debt. So it's basically focus on this thing, be very, very fast at focusing and tackling that thing so that you can move to the next stage. So yeah, that's how I have been participating in this and taking this, and you can, you know, do it differently based on your own schedule or based on how you feel about getting out of debt. I personally don't want it as much as possible. So yeah, and we're just talking consumer debt and all debt outside of my home. I will pay my home off. That is just not the focus at this moment. This moment, all other debt outside of my home is what I'm focusing on. The next thing I did was figure out how much I'm spending on expenses each month. So basically I'm single. I am, you know, I don't have any children, so it's just me, but thankfully God has blessed me with a dual income household. I have a full-time job and I also have a part-time hustle that brings in just as much, sometimes more than my full-time job. So it allows me to, you know, work on a dual income in this house. What I do is write down all of my personal expenses. That's all of the expenses that I pay each month in order to operate my home and live in it comfortably. So that's my mortgage, my light bill, phone bill, cable if you had it. I don't have cable. Water, gas, whatever those services and bills are that are your responsibility. Write that completely, all of those things down to the penny, every single thing that you pay for. I also wrote down how much I was paying on fast food because it was just like all of that. I had to like completely almost remove that line because it's just way too much, way too much. I was eating out way too much. Yeah, so write down all of those things. And I also had another list because I had a business to run. So I wrote down all of my business operating expenses as well. How much do I need to live in my home comfortably? And then how much do I need to run my business each month? And then so I wrote down both of those lists, everything that is needed in order for things to run smoothly. Now, I made needed and wanted are two different things. I wrote down everything that was needed. I don't need cable. I don't need fast food. So everything that I needed, I wrote down and on both lists. So from there, the next step is to look through that list that you have and see what are some areas that you can cut to possibly repurpose as much of your income as possible to get out of debt. That is what I did on both lists. So that's what I was just saying before. Going through my list of everything that I wrote down, fast food was on there. We have to cut that out or drastically decrease the amount that I was paying each month. Cable, cut that out. We're just gonna do a few streaming things that will allow me to still have entertainment and enjoy. I'm trying to think of other things. If for instance you have a car note that is like $700 and you live in an apartment that is like $900, it's almost like priorities, you know. But my car note is no more than 5% of my income. So I did not sell my car. But if it's very, and the fact that I will be getting, the car will be completely paid off in the next month and a half. So it just, you have to look at what you bring in to kind of see if it makes sense for your financial situation to be paying on a certain amount, or, you know, your wants are great, but what is it that will allow you to live comfortably and actually have the life that you are, you know, looking for and still be responsible with your finances. So that did come up. Was I going to sell my car? Was I going to sell my home? That came up because I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home here in Houston. So am I going to keep paying that mortgage? Let's see how much I'm bringing in each month and weigh whether it makes sense for me to sell or keep it. And it also depends on how fast you plan on getting out of debt. So if you want to get out of debt in like 6 months, but you have a $700 car note and you're only bringing in like $4,000 a month, and you have a house and you have kids and you have a wife and, you know, it's just, or a husband, you know, it just, your expenses based on your lifestyle is increasing So then there are some sacrifices that you may have to make in order to get out of debt in the time frame that you want. If you want to, you know, be a little bit more lenient and extend that time frame, then you may not have to get rid of some of those assets. So it's basically what is it that you want, and how fast or aggressive are you trying to be at the goal that you are trying to set. So yeah, I can still be a bit aggressive without selling my car and without selling my house. I can be very aggressive if I sell my house, but I don't want to sell my house. Not doing it. So then some people will be more aggressive and want to sell their home, and that is your business. So I think it's very awesome for those that do that. I just know it's not for me. But those are some things to look at. So what are some areas are you able to cut so that you can repurpose all of that income that was going to that bucket and put it towards paying off your debt? That's the step that I did next. Next, I looked to see whether I had any assets that I can then like either cash out or repurpose and put right onto debt. So for instance, if I had a savings account, this is just for instance, if I had a savings account that had $20,000 in it, I can take 15,000 of that and repurpose it to my debt, you know, because if I want to hurry up and get out of debt and then build that back up, you know, from there, debt free. I don't have any services I'm paying. I don't have a credit card I'm paying on every month. I don't have a car note I'm paying on every month. So I should be able to build up the $20,000 super quick, because all of those monthly payments that I was making before are no longer exist. So yeah, I would rather be out of debt and have $20,000 in cash versus have $20,000 in cash in my savings account or in my non-retirement stock and mutual funds, and then be like, okay, well, I have $60,000 in debt. You know, your net worth is still negative. So it just depends on, again, how fast you want to get out of debt. Some people feel better being able to have that $20,000 sitting in their savings accounts, but still have $80,000 in debt. Some people feel better and more safe. That, again, that's your business. Me personally, it makes more sense for someone not to be able to take something from me and I have that money in my savings account. So I would rather cancel that area of control that they have in my life, take that back, and then everything that I have now nixed out as far as monthly payments that I'm paying to them because they had control over my finances, put that towards my savings account and stay cashed up. That's just me. I don't know. Okay, from then, the last and final step that I used in my debt-free process is to decide how I was going to attack it. And to me, the easiest way for me to attack the debt is to continue working 2 jobs. So not only do I continue to work 2 jobs, but I'm only living off of 1 job's income. So I have a full-time job as an accountant, and as you guys know, I have a part-time side hustle as an influencer, Christian fashion influencer, content creator, YouTuber, whatever you want to call it, honey. Okay. So basically, I only live on my accounting salary. Everything that comes in from my content creator, influencer salary, not even salary, job, is extra. So basically, everything that's on my personal list of my personal expenses and all of that is being covered by my accounting salary. That and a little bit more of that can actually be allocated towards debt, because based on my accounting salary, I have a little bit more room to be able to allocate some of that extra expenses each month towards debt. But everything in my influencer income that I get on a monthly basis is either put back into the business in order for me to operate the business legally and professionally, and also put towards debt. So here's how I allocate the money that's in my business account. I get money through Google AdSense. For instance, if I had a blog, I actually do have a blog. It's I'm talking pennies. Very little that comes through there because I don't have time to actually blog. Once I'm able to kind of figure out what I want to do with my job and I decide to blog full time, that's an option. And it can bring in a really substantial amount of income monthly. But basically, Google AdSense, blog, ads, and the ads from YouTube is mainly where I get paid from. So any of the commercials that come through these videos, you can watch, you know, whether you skip or watch 30 seconds. I think it's if you watch like 10 to 15 seconds, you're helping your girl out. So thank you in advance for those that do not skip right away. basically that is a big portion of what I get paid monthly on Google AdSense. Another avenue is affiliate links. So the people that are interested in this makeup look, links are below. If you ever purchase anything from my links, it's not changing the amount that you have to pay in order to receive the product, but it is telling the retailer, hey, this person suggested this item to me and I went and purchased it, so you should give her a commission based on her suggesting this option to me. And good, influencers with ethics, good ethical backgrounds, actually don't suggest anything that they don't already use or already love. That's your girl. So yeah, anytime you purchase things from my link, it helps out my small business. That is another portion of how I get paid. Another big aspect of how I get paid is brand campaigns. Basically brands such as the Pantene, or who else was it? Pantene, the Cole, CVS, those particular brands that you guys have been shouting out, hey, that I've been getting sponsored by, they pay me to bring their product before you guys. And again, if you have ethical standards in any business that you do, you will not work with companies that you don't already use in your day-to-day life or love or feel that would be very, very beneficial for the audience that, or you've been blessed with. So I do not bring things to you guys that I don't care about. I don't think, I'm just not out here chasing checks, basically. So yeah, that is a big portion of how I get paid on a monthly basis as well. Those brands pay me in order to create content for them. Sometimes they'll repurpose that content. That's another fee. And once I put that in front of you guys, that is a fee. So yeah, that is a big portion of how I get paid. And I think, let me see, is there another way? Hold on, I could be wrong. Okay, those are the income streams through my business account. Once I receive whatever I receive for that month, this is how I allocate it. I take 10% as my tithes, 10% of the increase as my tithes. I give that to God, back to God, because without him, none of this is possible. Hallelujah. Okay. So I give him 10%. I take 20% and put that in a savings account that I have listed as my taxes in my business account, because I'm an entrepreneur. Even though I have a full-time job, I'm an entrepreneur over here, so I still have to pay taxes quarterly. So I save 20% towards that taxes. I save another 20% off of what I receive in the month towards my business operations. So that will help me with the photo shoots and the video editor and my management and all of that, those different business expenses. It will help me each month be able to take care of those expenses without it dipping into my personal fund over here. Also, last but not least, after the 20% for taxes, 20% for business expenses is taken out, and the 10% of God right off the top, that's the first thing I take off. After those are taken out, then at least 50% of the income that I've received from that month, I give it straight to debt. Whichever my smallest debt is what I'm paying first. So I go from smallest to largest, not based on the interest rate, because it's a reward system that gives me the motivation to keep pushing forward while I'm going through this process. So I always start from smallest to largest. Right now I'm on my car. After my car, it's the student loans. I have 2 degrees, a master's degree. It's a lot, but it's fine. We're gonna get through this. Biden is probably talking about this $50,000, honey. I will praise the Lord. You hear me? On every aspect of it. But yes, so that is how I have been working on debt. That is basically how I've been paying off debt and allocating money towards debt. Any extra in my personal account also goes towards debt as well. So yes, that is exactly what I've been doing and paying off. I hope that was very specific and to help you guys out, and it is a little bit better on time. So I'm going to start answering all of your questions. I did a question poll in my Instagram stories a few weeks ago, so I'm going to go through those questions now and answer those for you. Here is one question. How much should I save before tackling debt? I'm so eager to get rid of debt. I have 4 figures saved. I don't know if I'll answer that question exactly how you want me to. I personally saved a small amount that gets me out of most emergencies for the time that I'm getting out of debt. The purpose of that is I'm not comfortable with that. I would like to have at least a certain amount saved. So it pushes me to get out of debt quicker so that I can quickly get that savings account pushed up, as well as it just honestly doesn't make sense for me personally to not to have such a major amount of debt over here that can be sacrificed if something were to happen, as well as like feel like I need a big amount of savings. So basically it's your personal choice. If you want to save before a certain amount before starting to tackle your debt, that's, you know, amazing too. So that any way is there's no wrong way. It's just your personal preference. I have saved enough that it will take care of, you know, anything that happens. And I also make sure to pay my tithes. So God protects the assets that he has given me stewardship over. So yeah, it's like a personal preference. Some people would rather save $20,000 than focus getting out of debt. And then, you know, again, there's nothing wrong with that because you're pretty much covered. Either way, I should not have to come out of pocket drastically for anything that has taken place. In an emergency, it can cover me very well. One person said, I'm not a blogger or a YouTuber. How can I make extra money? What are you already good at? What is something that you already have in your hands that you can make a service, or you can make give as a talent to provide for other people and charge a rate for it? That's pretty much all a blogger and a YouTuber is doing. Any other entrepreneur is honestly doing the same thing. They have a talent or a skill or a product that they like and feel that will be very helpful to someone else, and they are charging a fee for that. So I would look at your personal, archive and see what it is that you're good at so that you can be helpful to someone else, and that can be extra income for you. Also, there's Uber Eats, DoorDash, which I can't stand. Do not use DoorDash. They're trash. But hey, if you decide to drive for them, please pay attention to the orders that are being placed. I'm not gonna, girl, let's just move on. But yes, those are other places or other things that you can do as well to bring in extra cash if you don't feel like you have like a service or a talent, which I'm sure you do. But those are other options as well. Part-time jobs, basically. How long does it take for debts you've paid off to fall off of your credit report? I'm not a credit guru. Honestly, I feel like it's 5 to 7 years. I think that's a good person to ask that deals with credit, but I feel like it's like 5 to 7 years for it to fall off. The thing is, once you pay it off, it will still be on there that it's been settled, so it's not going to go against you negatively. So yeah, or it shouldn't rather. If I get a degree in the UK, oh, this is something that's totally different. If I get a degree in the UK and move to the US, would it be hard for getting an accounting job? I don't think so. I have plenty of co-workers that got their degrees in other countries. As long as it's, still accredited college or university, you're straight. How to not feel ashamed of buying a want while on the journey. That goes with your personal goals. So if, for instance, I bought a $1,500 mirror, I would feel bad because that $1,500 could have went toward my car note. And there's nobody that cannot make me feel bad about that because I have a bigger goal at hand that I want to work at. And that goal that I'm working to achieve will get me to the financial freedom and the freedom of enjoying my labor much quicker than me buying some decorations would. So it's not a no, it's a not now, and again, that depends on what your goals are. If your personal purchase is $25 nail full set at the nail shop, girl, let's move on. Like, no, that you shouldn't be feeling guilty about stuff like that. I personally wouldn't. I wouldn't make you feel guilty about it, and I wouldn't feel guilty about it. Honestly, I've been debating going to get my nails done quick anyway. So it just depends on the materiality of that purchase. Is that something that could set you back? Would you have been able to save months, weeks, months, or years if you had not made that purchase on your debt-free journey? Would you have been able to save that time if you had not made that purchase? That is what would make me feel guilty or not feel guilty. $25 full set is not going to make or break me. $1,500 in a mirror is not going to make or break me, but it will. That could have been a couple of weeks of labor that I could have put towards a debt. So, it just depends. Tips on improving your credit score, where to start in regards to debt, car, house loans. I would advise getting in touch with a mortgage officer. Is it loan officer, mortgage counselor, mortgage loan officer? One of those. If you are interested in how to improve your credit score, and also what are you improving your credit score for? Are you going to go and make a major purchase soon? You want to make sure you just have a good credit score and you're trying to finance that purchase. If you're trying to go and make a good purchase soon but you're paying cash, you don't need a credit score. That it doesn't matter what your credit score is if you're going to purchase cash. If you want to finance something like a house or a car loan, and a house is debt, by the way, and I have a house that I'm financing. If I was going to purchase that house now, I would be very concerned about what my credit score is, because I know that's a house that I will be financing, and I don't want to have, a whole bunch that goes against me to prevent me from getting that house. But I would also look at why you are trying to get your credit score in a better place. But I would say get with someone that works with credit scores. I know eliminating debt does help. It eventually will hurt, but more debt you have, sometimes you can have a lot of debt and still have a good credit score. Girl, I'm not the person to answer that. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you. I'm not the person to answer that. It takes more time to get into that question that I am just not prepared for, honestly. Sorry about that. But I would say go with a loan officer. The person that helped me get into this house was so great. She had a calculator and everything that she set up of what I need to pay off, how it would affect my credit score, and how it would affect it quickly, all of that. They have calculators, spreadsheets, all of that. So I think they would be more helpful to you for that question than I would. Thoughts on stocks, bonds, LLC, student loan debt, methods you use for debt. I don't know what you mean by the thoughts on it. Like, I have not been investing. I will get out of debt and then I will start investing shortly after that. So I have not been investing, so I don't really have any thoughts on that. Student loan debt, I don't want it. People feel like you're gonna die with your student loan debt. No, you do not have to do what the rest of the world does. If you do not want student loan debt, get out of student loan debt. But I will say that is one of the major ways this country makes money is through student loan debt. Research it. It is a big way that they make their money. So would you rather help the US make their money or help yourself make money? I don't know. Thoughts on student loan consolidation and refinancing. I feel like it's okay to refinance if that is going to help you reallocate more money back to other debt to pay it off so that you can quickly get to your student loans and pay that off too. You're asking someone that doesn't want student loans. So if you are looking to just lower your debt so that you can have more freedom to live comfortably, but you're not thinking about if you'll ever get rid of that debt, you're going based off the schedule that they're giving you, I'm not a good person to ask, because I'm gonna be making lump sum payments to get rid of that debt. But yeah, so if you're refinancing it in that instance to free up a little money to kind of pay off debt faster, then cool. Loan consolidation sometime. I think I consolidated my loans a long time ago in my early 20s. But if you're getting ready to get out of debt, there's not necessarily a purpose to do that. In doing that, I don't personally see it. So yeah, it's more like a personal preference thing. I would not do it. If I hadn't done it in my earlier 20s, I wouldn't do it now. I wouldn't care to do it now because it's gonna be paid off. So are you doing a debt snowball or something like that? Yes, I am doing the debt snowball and taking the lowest debt and paying that off first up to the highest debt. And so any extra money that comes into my finances that I can allocate towards debt, that's what I'm doing. Do you also save during this process? If so, how? No, I don't save during the process. I actually saved before I started, which took me a couple of weeks, I think. Yeah, a couple of weeks to save that portion amount that's just sitting in a nest if any emergencies happen. I do not touch that money. So for instance, this winter thing came about. One of my pipes on the side of my house burst. It cracked. It didn't burst, but it cracked. Thankfully, it did not affect the pipes in my house, like behind the brick wall. Hallelujah. I feel like that's the covering of God and the tithe. But yeah, I was able to quickly get that fixed through the emergency fund, put that money back and move on. That is what I did. That's what that money is for. I'm not doing anything with that money outside of emergencies. So I saved a little bit right before getting out of debt, to answer your question. Should I save, pay off debt, or do both? Personal preference. It depends on what your goals are. That's why the first point is why. Why am I doing this? What is the aspect? What is the process going to be like? And why do I want to go through that? What is my goal here? Why do I want to get out of debt? I do not want to be living paycheck to paycheck and working for a check in order to just pay bills. I want to have the freedom of every single dollar that I make. I want to be able to use it in the way that I want to use it. I don't want someone to tell me how I am going to use my money, how much I am worth, when I should get a raise, and when I should come back to work, when I can have my vacation, when I can be sick, when I can go get my babies, when I decide to have them, when I can take my honeymoon, when I get married. I don't want anyone to have that kind of control over my life. So I want to have more financial freedom that allows me to be able to dictate how I'm gonna live and be able to make those decisions freely, because I am covered financially, and also to be a blessing to others. I don't want to just hoard a whole bunch of money to myself and just save and have a whole bunch of stuff. I want to be comfortable, and I want to be able to tip my waitress $200 if I feel it in my spirit, or they've just been very good. I want to be able to hand a new car to somebody because they have been walking to work, and they have 3 kids. That's just some of the whys that I look at. You have to go deep as to why you're doing it, and then figure out whether it is feasible for you to save and cancel debt. To me, no. I can go faster focusing on one thing. If I pay all of my money to debt and get out of debt quickly, I can get out of that quickly. If not, then no. I'll be splitting my time trying to save and do debt, and that's personally not something I'm interested in. But if you want to take it a little bit more easier in your debt-free journey, then you have the flexibility to save and get out of debt at the same time. So glad you're talking about this. I'm proud to live debt-free after debt, low income, bad decisions. Congratulations, you're debt-free. That is awesome. I'm trying to get like you. Your strategy for paying off student loans. I would say start from the lowest to the highest. I have several different student loans like bunched into the same lender, if that makes sense, because of the different times that I've taken them out. But whatever that smallest loan is, attack that one until it's completely paid off, and then go to the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. But if you have one just solid loan amount, then it's like, just pay that off as quickly as possible. That's my strategy. How did you come up with your payoff plan or schedule? The guru that I learned from has a tool that I've been using that gives me, I decided how fast I wanted to get out of debt, then looked at how much income I bring in each month, or how much income I need to make each month in order to pay a certain amount each month to get out of debt by that date, if that makes sense. But there's a calculator in this tool that the guru provides. And again, if you go on my Instagram stories, you'll be able to, or just throughout my Instagram in general, you'll be able to see who that guru is and look at the tools that guru has. So yeah, that is what I use to figure out how much I need to pay each month in order to get out of debt by January 2022. Some months, more months than not, I pay over that balance, which allows me to get through quicker. So there's that. How long, oh Lord, again, personal preference. How long does it take? That's the first thing everyone thinks about, is how long does it take? But then you also have to think about, what is that process going to provide me? Security, financial freedom, freedom in your decision making, freedom in your time, freedom in your career. You can actually, you know how good it will feel to be able to go into your job and know that you do not need that job to live. You like, God, girl, I got such and such in the bank. I got these investments working for me. I got all of this going on. You talking to me crazy? Girl, I don't need this, That is a blessing. That is a different kind of peace. You know, so don't just look at the length of the process. Look at the benefit that the process provides after it's done, because that process, by the time you're done, it will feel like it just went by so quick. So don't look at that. Let's keep going. Last two questions. How did you pay off things sent to collections? Did you just contact the credit place? Yes, I did have some items that were sent to collections, and I contacted the creditor, credit collections company, and did a settlement. And the settlement is not the full balance of whatever it is that was in the collection. So most likely it's like, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's not even 80%. It's not even 70%. Not even 60%, honestly, I don't think. So, you know, basically you just get with them and settle the amount, and then ask for a letter once you've settled that amount, so that if anything happens, it has not been reported to the credit bureau in time, or anything like that. You can provide that letter and get things adjusted, or just in case they try to come back later on, because I do not trust collections companies. Just in case they try to come back later on and say, hey, you didn't pay this, you have that letter. So yeah, make sure you get a letter. And yeah, just sometimes they'll send you a letter too with this number that allows you to pay off at a settled amount. Go with that letter as well. Give them the dates, the account number, and all of that. So that's how I settle those. And last question, how can you save money, pay off debt with not a lot of income? I personally would first look at why you don't have a lot of income and what you can change about that. If you're on a fixed income when it's coming to like retirement or anything like that, I would kind of reevaluate how to bring in some extra income. Either go back to come out. Can you come out of retirement without a penalty? I don't know how that works. Don't listen to me. I don't know how that works. But if you just have low income and there's something you can do to change that, look at what you can do to change that. Is there a way for you to go get a different job that pays you more doing the same thing or more? Is there a way for you to add on a second job that increases your income? Or is there a way that you can take about 6 to 8 months of getting some education so that you can be qualified for a higher paying position? Whatever that may be, look at those things and see what you can do to try to increase your income. That's the first thing I would pay attention to before getting out of debt. Of course, I would try my best not to get in more debt in those areas where you're asking yourself those questions. I would try my best not to get in more debt. But from there, yeah, I think your first thing is to how can we increase your income? So if you have a monthly expense, personal expenses that equal to like $4,500 a month, but you're only making like $4,700 a month, you need to increase your income or decrease your expenses. I personally would first decrease my expenses and then try to figure out how to increase my income. So look at that too. It's probably not just your income. It could be your expenses that make you feel like you're not making enough, because there's a lot of people out there that make $150,000 a year and still live paycheck to paycheck because they have too many expenses. So I would look at that too. So that was the last question, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was, first of all, I know it's long, I'm sorry, but I hope you enjoyed it and it was everything that you needed. So yeah, be sure to talk to me in the comments below. I'm going to be down there taking questions and stuff like that. As you can see, I do not mind letting you guys know when I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything. So if there's something that I can answer, I will. And if not, I'll let you know that I can't, and maybe hopefully have a suggestion to where you may be able to get the answer. But I thank you guys again for watching this video. I will see you guys on the next upload day. By the time you watch this is Wednesday, so Saturday. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good one. Bye.